What if I told you that someone close to you, someone you trust, could be using your emotions against you, manipulating you without you even realizing it? Imagine being trapped in a relationship where your sense of reality constantly shifts, where your self-worth is slowly drained, and where you feel like you're losing yourself piece by piece. Welcome to the world of narcissistic abuse. It's not just emotional, it's psychological warfare. Today, we'll delve into how narcissists operate and how you can break free from their control. Narcissistic abuse isn't just about ego. It's a calculated, insidious form of emotional manipulation that keeps you stuck in a toxic cycle. If you've ever felt like you were constantly walking on eggshells or doubting your own perceptions of reality, you may have been a victim of narcissistic abuse. But how exactly do narcissists control their victims? What makes them so skilled at manipulation? Narcissists often use a variety of psychological tactics to maintain power over others. Their primary tool: gaslighting. It's a term you've likely heard, but understanding how it works is crucial in breaking free from its grip. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where the narcissist plants seeds of doubt in your mind, making you question your memories, perceptions, and even your sanity. For example, they may deny events that clearly occurred, twist your words, or accuse you of being overly sensitive when you express hurt. The goal: to make you feel confused and insecure, slowly chipping away at your confidence. The narcissist's ultimate goal is to gain control over you, and they do so by convincing you that you can't trust yourself. They'll twist every interaction, reshape your reality, and make you feel like you're the problem. Their behavior isn't just random, it's part of a pattern designed to break you down emotionally and keep you trapped. Another common tactic is love bombing. In the beginning, the narcissist will shower you with attention, affection, and compliments. This phase feels magical, it's intoxicating. But behind the charm lies a darker purpose. The narcissist is setting the stage to dominate you. They want you to be emotionally dependent on them, and they use love as a tool to establish control. Once they've won your trust, they'll slowly start to withdraw their affection and turn their attention elsewhere, leaving you craving the very validation they once gave you. This cycle of intermittent reinforcement keeps you hooked and emotionally invested in their approval. As the relationship progresses, the narcissist may use devaluation. This is where the real damage begins. They'll begin to criticize, belittle, or even openly insult you. It may start subtly, with backhanded compliments or slight jabs at your appearance, intelligence, or abilities. Over time, these insults grow more frequent, and you start to internalize them. The narcissist will often manipulate you into feeling like you're not good enough, that you're the one who needs to change. This devaluation phase is a methodical process meant to weaken your self-esteem and make you dependent on their approval. By the time the narcissist has you where they want you, you're emotionally drained, confused, and uncertain of your own worth. You may find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do or agreeing to things you don't want, simply to avoid conflict. Your reality becomes distorted, and it becomes harder to tell where their manipulation ends and your sense of self begins. But why do narcissists engage in this behavior? It all comes down to their deep-seated insecurity. Narcissists crave admiration and validation because they feel inherently flawed or unworthy. To protect themselves from this perceived vulnerability, they project an image of superiority and entitlement. They view others as tools to boost their ego and serve their needs, seeing no value in mutual respect or healthy boundaries. This pattern of manipulation is not just emotionally damaging, it can have profound long-term effects on your mental health. Victims of narcissistic abuse often experience feelings of worthlessness, anxiety, and depression. The constant undermining of their self-esteem takes a toll, leading them to question their judgment, their relationships, and their own identity. But there is hope. Recognizing the signs of narcissistic abuse is the first step toward breaking free. The next part of this script will explore the emotional impact of living under the control of a narcissist and how you can start to heal. Living under the constant manipulation of a narcissist can take a severe emotional and physical toll. The abuse is not always visible to the outside world, which makes it harder for victims to seek help or even recognize what's happening to them. At first, you may feel overwhelmed with confusion, but as time goes on, the emotional damage becomes more pronounced. Victims of narcissistic abuse often experience what is known as trauma bonding. This occurs when you form a strong emotional attachment to the abuser, despite their mistreatment. This bond is created through the narcissist's tactics, such as intermittent reinforcement, love bombing, and the cycle of devaluation. When you receive affection or approval from the narcissist, it feels like a reward. This intermittent kindness, mixed with cruelty, creates a sense of emotional whiplash that is difficult to break free from. You may begin to feel as though the narcissist is the only person who truly understands or loves you, even though their actions contradict this. This inconsistency keeps you trapped in a cycle of emotional dependency, making it hard to leave. But the emotional toll doesn't stop there. Victims of narcissistic abuse often experience severe self-doubt. Narcissists excel at making you question your own reality, and over time, this causes a shift in your perception. You begin to doubt your own judgment, memory, and emotions. You might feel constantly on edge, unsure if you're overreacting or if the narcissist is truly as manipulative as they seem. This kind of uncertainty can be paralyzing, leaving you stuck in a mental fog. The longer you stay in this cycle, the more you start to internalize the narcissist's cruel words and behavior. You might begin to feel like you're unworthy of love or respect. As your self-esteem diminishes, so does your ability to make clear decisions about your life. You may tolerate more abuse, make excuses for the narcissist's behavior, or even put your own needs and happiness last because you've been conditioned to believe that you're the problem. Narcissistic abuse doesn't just affect your mind, it takes a physical toll as well. Victims often report chronic stress, anxiety, and depression. The constant mental and emotional strain of living under the influence of a narcissist can lead to physical symptoms like headaches, digestive issues, insomnia, and high blood pressure. The prolonged stress response of living in a state of constant anxiety can wear down your body, leading to chronic fatigue and a general feeling of being drained. One of the most dangerous effects of narcissistic abuse is the isolation that often accompanies it. Narcissists will often try to isolate you from your friends, family, and other support networks. They may manipulate you into believing that the people around you don't understand you, or they may create conflicts that drive wedges between you and your loved ones. Over time, you start to rely more and more on the narcissist, creating a situation where they become the only source of attention and approval in your life. This isolation makes it harder to see the abuse for what it is, as the narcissist's influence becomes all-encompassing. As your relationships with others deteriorate, your self-worth continues to erode. You begin to feel like you have no one else to turn to. This isolation leaves you feeling helpless and hopeless, making it even harder to escape the cycle of abuse. Yet, despite the heavy toll, the emotional effects of narcissistic abuse are not permanent. With time, understanding, and proper support, you can begin to heal from the damage done. But first, it's essential to recognize the impact narcissistic abuse has had on you. Healing from narcissistic abuse requires more than just emotional recovery. It requires an understanding of the psychological damage inflicted and a plan for rebuilding your life from the ground up. In the next section, we'll discuss how to break free from the hold of a narcissist and begin the journey of reclaiming your life, self-worth, and happiness. Breaking free from a narcissist's grip is not an easy task. The longer you've been in the relationship, the more complex and painful the process will be. The narcissist's manipulations have likely left deep scars on your emotional and mental state. But the good news is, it is possible to regain control of your life, rediscover your identity, and move forward with strength and resilience. The first and most crucial step is recognizing that you're in an abusive relationship. It sounds simple, but this is often the hardest part. Narcissists are experts at making their victims feel like they are the problem. They manipulate your emotions, distort your reality, and create confusion, which can make it difficult for you to see the situation clearly. If you're reading this and it's hitting home, that's a sign you might already be more aware than you think. Acknowledge that what you're experiencing is not normal or healthy, and you don't deserve to be treated this way. Once you've recognized the abuse, the next step is to set firm boundaries. Narcissists have little regard for personal boundaries and will often try to push or break them. This is where you must draw a line. Setting boundaries is a form of self-respect and self-preservation. You must be clear with the narcissist that their behavior is unacceptable, and you must be prepared to enforce these boundaries. In many cases, this might mean limiting contact or cutting ties completely. Setting boundaries is a crucial part of reclaiming your personal space and autonomy. No contact is often the most effective method of breaking free from a narcissist. While this might sound daunting, it's often the only way to escape the psychological manipulation they inflict. This means cutting off all communication, whether it's via phone calls, texts, or social media. Narcissists thrive on the power they have over you, and cutting off all access to you deprives them of that power. The key here is to go no contact permanently, not intermittently. However, going no contact is easier said than done, especially if you've been emotionally or financially dependent on the narcissist. If you share children, property, or financial assets with the narcissist, it's essential to proceed carefully. In these cases, you might consider implementing gray rock techniques. Gray rocking is a method where you respond to the narcissist in a way that is as unremarkable and neutral as possible, no emotions, no reactions, just simple facts. This method reduces the narcissist's ability to manipulate you emotionally and makes it harder for them to engage with you in a meaningful way. Another critical step in reclaiming your life is building a support system. Narcissistic abuse often leads to isolation, and the first thing you need to do when breaking free is reconnect with people who care about you. Whether it's friends, family, or a support group, having a strong network of people who understand your situation can make all the difference. Therapy is also highly recommended. A therapist who specializes in narcissistic abuse can help you process the trauma and guide you through the healing journey. Therapy is not only about healing from the past but also about rebuilding your sense of self-worth and finding your inner strength again. While working on healing your emotional wounds, reclaiming your identity is equally essential. Narcissists have a tendency to erase your individuality, making you feel like you exist only for them. Over time, you may have forgotten who you truly are and what makes you happy. Rebuilding yourself involves rediscovering your passions, setting personal goals, and finding out who you are outside of the narcissist's influence. Take up activities that bring you joy, whether it's a hobby, sport, or creative outlet. Surround yourself with things that remind you of the person you used to be before the abuse took its toll. Part of the journey of reclaiming your life is forgiving yourself. Narcissistic abuse often leads to intense feelings of guilt, shame, and self-blame. You might wonder why you stayed in the relationship for so long, or why you didn't recognize the signs of manipulation sooner. Remember that the narcissist's tactics were designed to confuse, isolate, and control you. It's not your fault. Forgiving yourself is crucial for moving forward. You did the best you could at the time, and now, you have the power to change the direction of your life. Finally, understand that healing is not a linear process. There will be good days and bad days, and sometimes the scars left by narcissistic abuse can feel like they'll never fade. But every step you take, whether it's setting boundaries, cutting off contact, or building a support system, brings you closer to reclaiming your peace of mind. You deserve to live a life free from manipulation and control, and you have the strength to make that happen. Narcissistic abuse is a dangerous and debilitating form of manipulation that can affect every aspect of your life. However, by recognizing the signs of abuse, setting boundaries, and seeking support, you can begin the process of breaking free. The journey to healing is difficult, but it is also empowering. Remember that no matter how long you've been trapped in the narcissist's web, there is always hope for reclaiming your life. With determination, support, and time, you can rebuild your self-esteem, rediscover your identity, and move forward with confidence. If you found this video helpful and want to learn more about overcoming narcissistic abuse and taking back control of your life, make sure to subscribe. We'll be diving deeper into how you can protect yourself from psychological manipulation and empower yourself to live your best life.